The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, it's the Back to School Special Fall Edition. Coming up, understanding the parent-teacher role and how do you navigate that properly for this new school year. Also tonight, your teen and their money. That's right, it's time to start talking to your student, your child, about money, respecting it, and understanding the value of it. Also, a little bit later in tonight's show, getting your children to begin thinking of and adopting healthy lifestyles. It's Back to School 2025 fall semester. Good evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, we saw last semester so many things unfolding. Union presidents appear on the show talking about mental health and their members, meaning the teachers, the principals, and senior staff on campuses. Well, my guests this evening say it extends even to students. And so therefore, how can parents kind of navigate and work through that? And then how can everyone involved in the education process come together to ensure that teachers are mentally and emotionally healthy and students as well? We're going to talk about a whole lot this evening, and so welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Ian Thompson. Ian is he really is a therapist, counselor. He works with troubled and at-risk boys, teenage boys, and also does a whole lot more in the education field. Ian, it's good to have you here. Good evening to you. Welcome, and it's good to see you again on the show.
Yes. It seems to be a consistent theme for me, eh?
Yes, absolutely. And I thank you for coming here because you have such rich information based on your experience that it's awesome to hear it and have you share it with parents, with teachers, with many people. I mean, I know many times even social services pay close attention to you when you're on the show because you also many times address issues that ministry is in charge of addressing.
Yes.
Exactly. And so welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me here, and pleasant evening to the Bahamas. Thank you for enjoying me and accepting me in your space this afternoon.
Yes, absolutely. So Ian, let's just jump in. Of course, we are at the start of the fall semester, the new school year. We want parents want the best for their kids. Overall, I mean, there may be one or two who fall in the cracks somewhere, and then you question the fact that you are actually a parent. But for the majority, parents want what's best for their kids. And tonight, you heard we were going to talk about their finances, their health, how they eat. All of that is very important to the overall student. But let's just talk about something that still tends to be an issue, that teacher-parent relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just start with that.
Well,
and how this semester to let there be no issue in that regard.
Well, you bear with me. I have a few things I've written down in preparation for this evening.
Sure.
But I liken the connection is between teacher, parent, and student as similar to the bank, insurance, and the government in our country. They work together, they link. So I have an acronym for LINK. Listen, invest, nurture, keep connected, and consistent. I believe once these principles or once these different keys are applied between that trifecta, it helps the situation because we're in a very funny time socially in that there are a lot of families that have they're not real conventional families. They're more so run by single parent homes. So there's an interesting dynamic in our country right now as it relates to how children are being brought up in the community and therefore coming to school. One of the things that I realize is it puts a big stress at times on the teachers from time to time, and how they have to navigate.
Yeah, the
these
teachers,
children. Yeah.
they have a lot, and now we are hearing, because before we never heard of this, but union presidents have started speaking out, because you're right, they are parents, and then they are what, minimum, sometimes 30 different personalities, different issues, different people, little people in these classrooms, and the teacher has to absorb all of that, manage it, navigate it each day.
Each day, and you know, too, with that, there's also pressures outside of that. Some of the kids are coming from urban communities where they may be a little disenfranchised. So as a result, they find themselves at a deficit, sometimes not having breakfast. And as you know, it's cliche that breakfast is the most important meal of the day because it gets the engine of the body going, the brain functioning and all that. So you find that there's so many external forces that is kind of hindering or kind of slowing down the learning curve when it comes to the kids in the schools and the classroom.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ian, I just want to say this. You know, you all know that breakfast program that's been launched. The Prime Minister himself was excited to jump on board and lead that in that regard. So there is no excuse, parents, if you cannot get your kid a hot meal before the school day starts, get them sign up on that, because we don't want any excuses, Ian, this year moving forward in terms of why a child is not performing.
Yeah, we really don't, because at the end of the day, you know, it's as a young child or a young teen, those are the most informative years of your life, you know. And I hearken to scripture where it says, not good for the soul to be without knowledge. And I think that's a very, very interesting scripture, because if you don't have knowledge, you cannot feed yourself at times. You know what I mean? You know, myself would go to a physician if he doesn't have knowledge to do his job. You know what I mean? So we don't want a citizenry or a generation that is misinformed when it comes to education. I commend the Prime Minister for doing something like that, but I would even encourage him to kind of stretch some more and see if he can try to put some more stress on the policymakers to bring some grocery down. To bring the groceries or the common bread basket items, to kind of bring those things even further. Okay. That would even be more of a benefit to some of our urban communities. But I have some things here that I believe that parents can look into when it comes to how they navigate this school year. I believe a parent should prioritize their child's mental health. I think that's very, very important.
Hugely important.
Very, very important. Build confidence, not arrogance. Too many parents are more concerned about how their child looks over what the psyche, what's going on with them internally. Do emotional check-ins. You know, there are predators out there, we all know, and at times they can slip right between the cracks because we don't really check in on the status of our kids' emotions. And most recently, I think the last time I was here, or a few other times before that, I think we addressed, a young man committing suicide. So, you know, and these things are unheard of in our country. Young people are filled with exuberance and joy and passion. They're not used to, you know, it shouldn't have, the pressures of life shouldn't be hitting them that hard.
No.
And moving on, speak wisely about their teachers around them. This is something I believe was to the detriment of every student.
You are voicing your displeasure,
voicing
and maybe
your displeasure,
even dislike of a certain teacher in front of your kid.
So you find a student going into the classroom, he doesn't know how to respond because the authority in his life, his parent, has now spoken about his teacher in an unflattering manner. So that compromises the ability for the teacher to now then teach the child effectively, because I always believe that you will never be able to receive from anything if you don't honor that. You know?
I agree, yeah.
So moving on, and partner with the teachers.
Yes.
Partner with the teachers.
How can parents partner and without, because sometimes they may feel too like, oh, I don't want to be a pest to this teacher. I don't want to bother them. I don't want to do too much. But this partnership is very important. It's very important because essentially the teacher is the lifeline to your legacy in the child. If the teacher doesn't have the ability by your authority to do what they're supposed to do to advance your child, you are losing as a parent. Because at the end of the day, my name is Mr. Thompson, and I want to know that whatever comes out of me, Thompson's, is actually progressing. You know what I mean? So if your child is in the school, your child essentially, Shanique, your child is meant to progress in school. It's supposed to go from ignorance to excellence.
So at the end of the day, the teachers are the ones that have been afforded the wonderful opportunity to be able to shape and mold the next generation of this nation. And you assist them with that by how you allow them to do so.
I absolutely agree. Now let's go really zero in on the main topic tonight, because we see, that issue is still unfortunately trending, which is such a wrong word to describe suicides or attempted suicides. But let's talk about the mental health of whether it be from the senior staff on a school campus, the teacher, into your students, and even households. Let's talk about that and how you even have to step in many times to be the middleman, the liaison, the therapist, to ensure that things are addressed so that the student, for the benefit of the student, that everybody else is mentally healthy.
Well, when you talk about mental health, most of us in the Bahamas, we tend to be very, well, to be honest with you, quite frankly, up until COVID, mental health didn't, on the world stage, it didn't seem to take much of a priority. But now it seems to be a global clarion call for us trying to be aware of what is going on upstairs. So you'll find that in our country, a lot of Bahamians need help from a mental aspect, including parents and teachers, the ones who are called to work hand in hand, like I say, this trifecta, to help to assist the next generation. And teachers need to understand that that they need an outlet as well. I work, and a shout out to my wife, my lovely wife. I live. I live with a wonderful woman and my wife who is a teacher by profession. And one of the things that I realized over the years is she's been in and out of the school system twice, is the woman that took the sabbatical is a total woman that is now teaching. When she comes home, she has, for my sake and the house sake, I have to make sure to prioritize her stress level. Meaning helping her sister, whatever I can do to kind of let the load off, because I realize that my wife has the ability to speak to the emotional state of the house. A woman has that kind of authority.
Yes.
So as a man, what I have to do is I have to find ways to kind of minimize the load on her when it comes to the kids, when it comes to everyday routines.
As someone who works and lives directly with a teacher, because the teaching profession is so different than it was even a decade ago. Imagine 20 years ago and further. What is the load like now? Well, we see, we already talk about parents having a better relationship with teachers and not that antagonistic relationship and combative relationship that often exists or shows up. What are teachers having to deal with now that have put them under stress? Because again, as I said, early part of summer, just at the end of the semester, I had at least one. It turned out it was two since then. Union presidents who are presidents of teachers' unions speak of the mental health and the stress, or whether they be senior staff or teachers, of what's happening around the nation.
With the teachers.
Yeah.
I believe one primarily I want to focus on with that is the amount of autistic children that are now currently coming up. And it's not to bash autistic children, that's not what I'm trying to say for those who are parents who have autistic children, is that since, and I don't have a statistic for this, but this is the most I've ever heard of Bahamian children having autism. So as a result, a lot of the kids now are coming in with mental challenges and certain setbacks into the classroom that have not been identified. Because there are different spectrums of autism. There's behavioral autism. There's autistic child that has who has an intolerance to sounds and colors and stuff like that. And these kids are coming up through the system. For those parents who don't have the ability or the money or the finances to screen them, to identify this, they're coming into the school system with these same teachers who have been tasked with teaching them. And as you know, whenever you have a special needs child, they need special care by a skilled person, a skilled professional. Some of the teachers, particularly in the government system, they are not, I wouldn't say, other than them probably pursuing this knowledge themselves and educating themselves, they are not aware sometimes of some of the setbacks with some of the children. So you find that there's a clash in between that, because you can diagnose a child as being fidgetive or being I guess, disrespectful or having whatever it may be, when the child may just be showing you signs of autism, signs of ADHD. So
all these different things.
All of these different things. So this adds to the issues that the teachers would face.
And then the expectation by parents, by the school system, by the principal and all the rest of them, because they are, at the end of the day, want their school and the students of that school to be high achievers and high performers.
Yeah, because everybody wants to show off.
Yes.
Everybody wants to wear a highlighted shirt at the end of the school year, say, this is Timmy, this is Tommy, this is Tommy, and we're cheering them on. So, at the end of the day, I think it needs to be a comprehensive look into the status of the kids, what's going on with them. I think, honestly...
But how do you do that? How do you normalize having your kid, if only once a year, at the end of the school year or the beginning, speak with a professional just to declutter and just to make things happen? Because I'm hoping teachers have this done. After the union presidents raised it on this show twice, I'm hoping that this is something now that's a normal thing for them. But how do parents understand that, listen, this is normal and it's okay to have your kid speak with a professional?
Well, first of all, you have to let go of the pride. Tremendous shame comes along with the idea of your son/daughter not being able to meet the bar as a normal kid, right? In that autistic or probably some other mental case. But you have to first let your pride go, because the child's well-being is the priority in this instance. So whatever means you have to do, if you see certain things, or if there's a family member that says, is Timmy or is Tommy, exhibiting a behavior that's normal, you probably need to get that checked out. You know what I mean? So you want to first let go of the pride, and then secondly, seek the right form of counsel. We have resources out there that are you can go into and
well, let's talk about those resources, because where parents can also go as well as with their children. Let's talk about those.
Well, one, the Ministry of Social Services provides some level of assistance when it comes to that. In that, once you highlight these things concerning your children, they find the professionals necessary to help and assist. Now, I can give you a few departments, if you wish, that can be able to assist. There's the Child Protection Unit. There's the Disability and Affairs Division. There's the Family Services Division, and there's also the Rehabilitation Services as well. So those are just few of the departments that the Ministry of Social Service has available for any parent to go in and say, hey, listen, I need some assistance with my child, or I think there's some things going on with my child. Because there are other institutions out there, but you may not have the means to tap into those streams because of financial issues.
Yes. Now, of course, as somebody who work with at-risk youth professionally and with your other hats, what do you want to say to parents? Because after all, they are the ones that are going to either have their kid succeed or not. It's not the teacher, it's not the principal, it's you actually, it's you at home.
Well, I'm going to start with this. TLC. Teachers are there to help the kids turn from, like I said, from ignorance to excellence. Students are there to learn, focus, and parents are to show the most concern. TLC. TLC.
Don't play your role in that acronym right there. And what Ian is saying, don't just lump it all into the educator's hands and figure what are they doing, or they are not doing this or not doing that. I thank you, Ian. Thank you for coming back again and speaking. Obviously.
Thank you for having me again.
Ian works daily in this field, and he has a whole lot to say on so many different topics as it relate to your child and them just showing up in their best forms, and as their best selves. It's really good.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Quickly.
I was about to say, and as parents, don't give up easily. Do not give up on your children. Do not say that your child is a problem child and therefore you just want to just let him go. Show concern, go into it. Don't give up on your child, and teachers, don't give up on the call that you have. There's a great call you have to teach, and students, do what you're supposed to do.
Yes, very good advice. I thank you very much, Ian Thompson. Thank you for being here once again. Of course, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to shift gears. We're going to look at your teen and their money. Yeah, it's not too early, Right now is when they must learn to respect money, regard it, and understand that it's a tool to help them move forward in life. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
Sting Junkanoo Group is celebrating 25 years of music, and you're invited to the greatest show ever. Counting down the years, performing hit song after hit song. Stevie S, Colin McDonald, KB, Dyson Knight, and D-Mac. Saturday, November 1st at the Farm Marshall Road, 8 p.m. until. Tickets can be purchased online at www.bahamaseattickets.com for your skybox or to be a food vendor. Call 424-6433, 477-0191. Sponsored by ZNS, Island Luck TV, The Farm, Gatorade Today & Co. Limited, Krista Minute, and Associates.
Crack the code and win $1 million. Crack the code and win $1 million.
7 numbers, $1 million. Every 3 days, a number is revealed. Act fast. Your million is waiting.
Crack that code, win $1 million clear.
Crack the code before the last lock clicks shut. Get ready to join the winner's circle only at islandluck.com.
Crack the code and win $1 million.
This year marks a milestone. The OWN Foundation is celebrating 10 years of impact, innovation, and inspiration. Join us for OWN Talks, September 12th at the Atlantis Resort, Paradise Island at 7 p.m. for a transformative experience under the theme, Activate. Taking the stage are world-renowned leaders and visionaries. Sebastian Bastian, visionary entrepreneur, philanthropist, and CEO of Island Luck and Wise Technology Group. Barbara Corcoran, legendary real estate mogul, entrepreneur, investor, and star of Shark Tank. Vusi Tembekwayo, global business strategist, venture capitalist, and one of Africa's most influential thought leaders. Be part of this unforgettable evening as the OWN Foundation celebrates a decade of purpose and progress. And together, we activate the future.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you join us this evening, of course, in this Back to School Special 2025, the fall semester. Let's keep this moving this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Howard Johnson. You all are very well aware of him now. He is, of course, the CEO of Young Money Solutions, but he also works in the industry. And so he's been, since the beginning of the year, really walking us through a lot. Well, we decided in this Back to School Special this evening that we are going to help students make smarter money moves. You're going to, I guess many of you are saying, well, how could students make smarter money moves? Like what they got, you'd be surprised. And quite frankly, no better time than now to start learning exactly what needs to be learned in terms of the respect of money, the power of money, the fact that money is a tool to get things done with. And listen, there's so much more we can say, and Howard has a lot to say, some good nuggets that not just teens, but adults can hold on to and begin putting into practice. And so Howard, it's good to see you once again. Good evening to you. Welcome to Be on the Headlines.
Good evening, Shanique. Thanks for having me again, and good evening, Bahamas.
Yes, good to have you here. Howard, I know we want to start talking about from particularly the junior and senior high student, the university student. But you know what? If fifth, fourth, sixth grader could get it, good. And of course, their parents as well. And so let's jump right in. You have some wonderful strategy tips throughout the United States. This is what you do through Young Money Solutions, whether it's teens, whether it's adults, whether it's those wanting to invest, wherever they are financially, you help to bring people along. What is it that you say to students and teens, particularly when getting started and learning that, guess what, you can begin building wealth right now?
Well, Shanique, the younger you are and become financially literate, the better it is. Parents play a specific role in that, but the younger you are, the easier it is for you to go through life understanding personal finances and learning how to manage money. So let's look at it from the perspective of junior high and high schoolers, right? So in junior high, you're getting ready to move and transition into high school. And from high school, you're getting ready to graduate and get out of school. No matter what it is or what situation that is, you are barreling toward that day when you begin adulting. And in adulting, finances will impact your life more than anything else. So this is why it is crucial from before that period or before that time that you have to adult, that you learn the foundational principles of personal finance so that you can seamlessly apply them to your life.
And don't be like, it's a joke on social media, but it's also quite real. People make fun of it, but they're very serious. When they say, listen, hold up on, why were we rushing to be adults and adult and be adulting? Like many people want a do-over, but students nowadays can get a jump start, right? Let's begin, Howard, let's get into the first strategy that you teach on a regular basis in your area, not just in Florida, but outside of Florida, to teens.
Yes, well, in the Bahamas specifically, we know that it's very difficult to get an account. Digital banking is just beginning to take off in the Bahamas. And Shanique, I know that it is very expensive to have those banking accounts now, right? I was looking at a survey from the central bank, and they're saying that it costs $15 a month on average to have a checking account for adults and about $9 a month to have a savings account. So if you're talking about a teen, a junior high student or a high school student, to get an account, it's going to have to be held in custodian, which means the parent is going to have that account for you. Well, we know getting back and forth, going to the bank and standing on lines, it's not a realistic thing to do. And it can be demotivating at how long it will take for a teen or a young adult to actually engage the process. So what do we have? We have the 3 envelope system, right? I have 3 nice envelopes here. And what I recommend for teens is to get themselves 3 envelopes, get yourself 3 jars. They don't have to look as nice as my leather envelopes, maybe some manila envelopes, or whatever you can use that you can store.
Yes.
We're gonna get these 3 envelopes and we're gonna split them into a save envelope, a grow envelope, and a spend envelope. All right, and we're going to break that down into 50% of monies that we have from gifts, from doing a side hustle, stuff that we're going to talk about later.
Don't go. Yeah, don't go.
From
Don't jump
anywhere.
ahead.
Right. I'm not going to jump ahead. But we got 50% is going to be in the save envelope. 30% is going to be in the grow envelope. And the last 20% is going to be in the spend envelope. And in the save envelope, we're going to save for our big goals and emergencies, like a school trip, laptop, if we need a tablet. In the spend envelope, this is
So
going to
you're
be for fun
saying
and
one
entertainment.
second, because we're not going to get to every point and
Sure.
every subtopic, right?
Sure.
But I like that.
Sure.
You're saying a kid doesn't necessarily, a student, a young adult, these teens,
Yes.
they don't necessarily have to always knock on their parents' doors. They can save for that laptop, that new phone, that whatever it is, as it relates to their education and their social media career. They can do that themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Because, and what it does is it teaches responsibility. One day you are going to get out of the nest. And even if you don't leave the nest right away, there's going to come a time when you're going to have to begin to take responsibility and accountability for your own life. And that's going to include earning income, making money to be able to take care of yourself. And so it's of critical importance that those skills be taught and learned, because you don't just have to wait for somebody to teach you. There's more than enough information out here for our teens and young adults who have access to phones and the internet to go and seek what exactly it is that they want to know.
You're so right, because instead of going and watching the biggest fight that happened on one campus or in some other nation, and no, man, what Howard is saying, take advantage of the free education. Social media isn't all bad, In fact, it's mostly good because of the education and the access, the free access that we all have. And so students, in your free time, take advantage of some of that. Yeah, of course, relaxation is important, but take advantage of build on some of this knowledge being shared this evening. Let's move to set one clear goal and make it SMART.
Yes. And SMART is the rave that's going on in the United States now in many industries. When we say SMART, it's an acronym. It means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, okay? And so SMART goals, we may not have time to go down the entire list, but what it means is you're just setting goals. What's life or what's anything that you want to achieve or are ambitious about if you don't set goals around it so that you can achieve them, right? And so you have to set goals because it gives you something to work toward. It gives you something to aim for, something to achieve. And then on the back end of it, when you achieve, you feel that modicum of success. You've accomplished something, and it motivates and inspires you to keep going.
Yes, sounds very good. Now, this is what I am really interested in. Who isn't? And I'll tell you, Howard, you know this very well, even though, of course, you are elsewhere. But in the Bahamas, it's a burgeoning economy on so many islands. It is a great opportunity for anybody, including teens, who would want to jump in to find a niche or find something that's workable, high, wash, rinse, repeat, and do your own thing. You are also suggesting to teenagers, why not start a mini hustle? Talk about that.
Yes, absolutely. Once again, teaching the fundamental principles of what you're going to engage in as an adult. Some people are going to go and have regular jobs and work for other people. And some of our young people in that generation, they are budding entrepreneurs.
Already,
and they want to earn their own keep. They don't want to work for anybody, and they have lots of skills and talents. What can you do? You can tutor. Have your own little lawn care and maintenance business. A lot of young people are great at baking and selling and baking treats, and you can sell those. Arts and crafts. Young people are great with their hands, and they're able to do arts and crafts that can be sold to tourists. And then the tech stuff. You can help your neighbors who need their satellites or their cable TV goes out sometimes, and you can help them to troubleshoot, or you can teach them how to use their phones and computers or fix their phones and computers. These are little side hustles that you can develop and you can utilize and you can make money from to put in those save, grow, and spend envelopes that we talked about previously.
That's good. And sometimes you don't know where an idea can lead you. It can start off very small, something out of the house, like a home-based something. Obviously, most of them start that way in any event, but you don't know where that idea can lead you and what it can bring forth in the future.
Right, because Shanique, I mean, the reality is in business, you have to pay your dues, right? And if you're 15, 16 years old and you've just established a business and you have the skills and the talents, as time goes by, you can move forward, you can upskill, you can go to college, you can go to trade school, and you can begin to put more oomph on your business, and you can begin to make it more marketable, and now you have a business that started out as a mini side hustle while you were in grade school, but now you have a legit business 10
Yes.
years later
Yes.
because everybody knows about it now, and you paid your dues, and you have a legitimate business that takes you now for the rest of your life. Now you're grown, now you have a family, now you have children, and now you have a legacy business that you can pass on to your heirs and your successors.
Yeah, really awesome. Now, this one is doable for any and every, all of the points are, in fact, but I like this as well. So let's just add this on, right? Learn one new thing each month. What do you mean by that? Like, what is that thing you could zero in on and say, oh, you're learning it?
Well, Shanique, we should always try to be lifelong learners. You know, we should be learning something every day until we die, right? And so when I say learn one thing every month, if finances are going to be with you and you're going to have to deal with them for the remainder of your life, please try to learn something about finances as often as you can. So we're talking about monthly personal finance topics, right? We're talking about budgeting. You go on the internet and you can find videos on YouTube. You can find articles to read that are for beginners. I mean, it runs the gamut, right? From beginners to the experts. And you can read up on needs versus wants, paying yourself first, investing for beginners, a savings rate. How much do you want to save? You know, you want to learn about how much you should save. All of these different things, savings hacks and spotting scams out there. All of these things are topics under the umbrella of personal finance that we should be delving into on a consistent basis to better ourselves on our personal finance journey.
It's really amazing. And Howard, as we wrap up this segment for our students who have just returned back to school this week, and as this show is singled out and focused in on students and the back to school 2026 fall semester, 2025 fall semester, what's one final thing you want them to take away from this segment?
Well, your parents are crucial. Parents have to get involved. That's one of the most important things. They are the game changers. If you're under 18, everything that you attempt to do relative to money, your parent has to be involved. They are going to be doing things in custodianship for you. So if you want to open a bank account, your parent has to do it. If you want to go and buy that lawnmower so that you can do lawn care and maintenance, your parent's going to have to be involved in that. When it comes to getting the money together and negotiating prices and dealing with the clients, your parents are going to have to be involved. So parents are going to be crucial in this role for your success, okay? And they should model good money habits. They should match your savings to motivate you, and they should supervise how you store and manage your cash.
Which is awesome. And you know what, I just thought about because you mentioned lawn care a few times. So I thought about it. A homeowner is more likely to give a teenager the job of the lawn care than an adult, because they're already impressed when they see this. Wait a minute, this teenage boy or girl is showing up with a lawnmower and say, can I do your yard? Like, they're already impressed with that. So they are more likely to say yes almost instantly.
Yes.
So there's a business right there.
Absolutely. And have conversations with your parents. Bring them along, because even though they're older, they can become financially literate too if they are not. This is a journey that is for everyone. And when your parents get together and talk about money with you, it helps you to build accountability, and it lets you keep talking about finances safely. It's a safe space, a safe environment that helps you to become comfortable. And as your parents coach you along and celebrate and protect you, you begin to grow confident, and financial literacy then becomes a family strength and not something that you have to face alone.
Absolutely. Excellent advice for our teens, and of course for everyone. I know you saw something in that you could grab a hold of, and so I thank you very much, Howard Johnson, CEO of Young Money Solutions. Thank you very, very much, a Florida-based organization but certainly teaching us here in the Bahamas and everybody who is interested in becoming more financially literate. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back on this Back to School special, we're going to talk about teens and their health, how you can begin now eating as you should, making the smart decisions on what you have for lunch, especially while on campus. We're going to talk about that with Dr. Shay King right after this break. Stay close.
Fly fishing for me is kind of a way of life. My father was one of the pioneers that started the fly fishing industry.
I grew up around the industry, but it was mostly spin fishing until the invention of the fly that changed the whole fly fishing industry as we know it today.
Well, fly fishing, in my opinion, is an art form that subscribes to artificially inducing a fish to take a lure.
It's fishing, but it's more like hunting than anything else.
So it is hunting, one aspect of it is, and the second of it is creating a lure that you are imitating that is of the environment.
You're actually stimulating the bite by them visually seeing the actual lure that you're sending to them.
Crazy Charlie is the fly that revolutionized, as we know, the saltwater fly fishing industry. It was invented by my father. He recalls seeing the bonefish chasing a little bait fish called a minnow. He took a couple chicken feathers and some bead eyes of a military tag, and that was the beginning of the advancement of saltwater fly fishing industry on the flats as we know it today. The importance of that fly allow you to be able to fish for bonefish in various depths of water.
Captain Rupert Lead, my dad, who's also a pioneer in the industry, his fly was called the gotcha fly, and it emulates two things: the minnows, which is a small bait fish, and also a shrimp pattern. See, there's so many legends that I'm now standing on. Percy Darville, Ivan Nemo, who would have passed, Raymond Mackey, you've got Sidney Nemore, Carl Moxie. These guys were filled with knowledge. They were self-imposed scientists. They saw these fish act in a certain way, and they know how to target them on specific tides. I feel extremely proud to carry the baton on, knowing that I can actually teach other youngsters how to carry the mantra, and they themselves can pass it on to other generations.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Of course, we are having a back to school session, dedicated the entire show this evening towards back to school. Students returned back to school on Monday in full, and we are this evening arming students, parents, and guardians with what is necessary to have your teens excel this year in school. And so in their classrooms and studies, obviously. And so how about teens and healthy lifestyles, healthy habits? Well, a guru is here this evening to speak to that and talk about how teens can even now begin implementing those wonderful little things, just little things that make a whole big difference. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Dr. Shay King, a nutritionist, coach and lifestyle coach and all the rest of it. It's good to have you here. Of course, she is the owner of the brand Everything CMOS. Exactly. Thank you very much for being here. It's good to have you here. Let's just jump right in and talk. How do you speak to teens about the importance, one, of a healthy lifestyle, and how do they even get started?
Well, one of the things I want to say first is when we talk to children about becoming healthier, we have to model it as parents, and that's so important. So we have to start by always modeling. And that's how we begin. As parents, if we want our children to do it, we have to first model it, and that's just the beginning of a healthy lifestyle. Now, Shanique, you know, here in the Bahamas, when we talk about eating better, that's always like a catch-22. And so I want to start with just 3 practical advice when it comes to eating healthier.
Yes.
So I like to put them in categories of 3, like healthy, cost-effective, and cheap quality.
Oh, because
so there's 3.
Well,
you have to pick 2.
We get to cheap quality, but the cost-effective. People make excuses. It's expensive to eat healthy, and we'll get to that. I'm not trying to rush ahead of you,
right?
But yet you find them these meals now, and from fast food places, they already cost what you could go to the store and get.
Yes,
but that's okay. Forgive me. Let's start
and
at the
Shanique,
beginning.
guess what? You are absolutely right, because I just had the opportunity to go into one of the local fast food restaurants, and the cost of fast food that is not healthy. Listen, parents, you might as well
go to the store,
the meal at home. And so when we look at healthy and cost-effective, you're already at a win-win. Plus, you know it's always what's in the food. When we think about food and healthy food, immediately we think, oh, it's going to be expensive. And so I want to just share a little bit of things that I do, and I always do when it comes to eating healthier and making it more cost-effective, Shanique. And one of those things is buy in season. Now, we're post-summer at the moment, and so we look at the fruits. We don't necessarily go to all the traditional fruits like the apples and oranges, but what I want to encourage you to do is, 1, go to your local farmers market, and we know where those areas are here in the Bahamas, as well as on the weekend. And additionally, one of my favorite things to do, Shanique, is what I call buy before the truck comes in. And we know when it comes to the local food stores out there, we know the day when the fresh produce comes in, and that's usually on a Thursday. So what I encourage you to do to get those cost-effective items, to get them in more of abundance, shop on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, especially if you have plenty of children like me.
So you're trying to say, if the complaint is, oh, that's too expensive.
Exactly.
You're saying in order to find, don't wait till Thursday, because that's when the fresh produce and all that stuff is now restocked.
Yes.
You are saying go on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
You got it. And I have been doing that for years.
Yes.
And not only, sometimes people think we don't get the freshest stuff, but here's the thing is, you can also get fresh stuff, but you can also get cost-effective items that you want, especially seasonal. When you think about berries, Shanique, the average cost of berries is somewhere between $7 to $8. If you shop on a Tuesday or Wednesday, you can get those same berries between $2 to $3 less.
Yeah.
And so when you think of it's just a strategy, really. And so when you look at your overall complaint, when people talk about healthy eating, let's throw the costs out of the window, because there's so many ways we can strategize to make it cost effective. Here's another one that I like, Shanique. When it comes to chicken, right? Instead of buying canned chicken, which is considered really unhealthy because of the preservatives, why don't you buy a whole chicken, roast that chicken, put it in the oven, and then prepare meals for the week? It's healthier, and it's definitely more cost effective.
And see, that's good because, okay, fine, you have the initial meal from the roast chicken, but then you can go on to make chicken salad. You can go on to make a chicken wrap or chicken in the lettuce wrap. I want to try that. I want to try that lettuce wrap.
It's just the lettuce wrap without the bread.
Right.
Yes.
Where do you even find that lettuce? That's a sidebar.
That's a whole sidebar.
Yeah, but no, I have been looking for that, like bib lettuce or whatever it is. Can't find it. But anyways, but go ahead.
And then also too, bowls. Bowls is just now trending.
Yes, it is.
And bowls is it's exciting. You can also get the children involved in creating bowls, and bowls can be any of your favorite things, and it can also be cost effective. Because Shanique, even in this segment, I want to also even talk about snacking, and we really need to take another look at snacking when it comes to making our children become more health conscious, because snacking is the way that we actually cause our children to eat less healthier, and it costs us more money when we purchase snacks, because we have a tendency to lean more towards these ultra-processed, unhealthy snacks that is extremely expensive.
Last night, when I told someone that you were coming on and about this back to school special and that I'm including this segment in it, they were like, please do that. Because he was quite disturbed when he said, can you imagine? He went into the store and the trolleys are filled with chips and all the rest of it. And he's saying the sodium and the sugar and all that stuff, because more and more young kids, meaning teenagers, are having high blood pressure issues. And of course, we know the diabetes situation. And so he was like, well, can you please have her address that with, just as you said, they need their snacks to take to school for lunch.
Here's some other things that we can look at, Shanique. When you think about ultra-processed food, it is an increased risk of obesity and weight gain, behavioral and emotional issues, and it also contributes to these sugar spikes, mood swings, irritability, difficulty concentrating in school, also poor physical fitness, and the long-term consumptions are early signs of metabolic syndrome. And we don't often think about this when it comes to children, but as parents, we are contributing to these illnesses when we feed our children ultra-processed foods. And the truth of the matter is, we don't even really need to call these things food, because it's not food at all. There's nothing in it equates to macro or micronutrients. It's really not food. It's just a matter of convenience for the parents. And what I find
so convenient, because it keeps the kid quiet and distracted.
And the parents themselves would never eat those foods.
That's true.
Yeah, but they're feeding it to their children.
Yeah, they once in a while they might get something out of the bag with their kid. But you're right.
Yes.
But okay, here's a question. The kid watching and the parents say, okay, fine, I hear what she's talking, but how we can have a bowl to take to school for my son's or daughter's lunch or whatever else is that we talked about already? How convince them that, listen, you can package that nicely and have that package for your kid to have for lunch?
Well, first things first, in the Bahamas, we have this mindset of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there's a certain type of food for breakfast, and there's a certain type of food for lunch. Let's get rid of that. Because when you think about the Asian countries, the European countries, they eat whatever it is that they want.
Whatever it is,
and
at any time, at morning, afternoon, or evening.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if we get away from that mindset of a breakfast food, then we can begin to look at a variety of foods for breakfast. Now, here's one of the things I love to do when it comes to preparing a lunch that you can carry, right? You can either use a mason jar or just a bowl that has a cover. So typically, right, the average Bahamian does not necessarily eat rice for breakfast, but brown rice, quinoa, millet, oats, these are all perfect foods to put in a bowl, and it doesn't make it soggy. And so if you want to pair quinoa with beans, rice, and this is also a good opportunity to chop up some fruit like mangoes or apples or even mandarins, which has the citrus flavor. And in addition to that, most children don't like an egg sandwich. But if you boil an egg and you dice it into a bowl, it's a perfect combination for protein, fat, and fiber. And again, avocados are in season almost all year round. Avocado is the perfect food to add to a bowl. And when you think of a bowl, the child is satiated, they're full, and it's a variety of food that will give the child what it needs during those school hour times.
Fiber, the
energy,
healthy fats, and exactly.
So it covers
which
your macronutrients, your fat, your protein, and your
it has them
carbohydrates.
being able to concentrate and think,
exactly.
and brain food as well. A lot of what you describe as brain food.
experience.
So you could pay attention in the class and learn.
So bowls is one of those easy ways to go. Here's another thing. When we think about meals, one of the things we need to make sure is that our children are eating a healthy first meal, which we call breakfast. If our child eats a healthy first meal, then we don't necessarily have to pack a snack. What you do is you pack an additional meal and make sure that meal is fortified and it's enough for the child. And then it is more likely when the child comes home, it will go ahead and participate in dinner.
So a parent should think nothing of a snack for the kid being a Greek yogurt and some fruit that is already pre-cut to just toss on top of it and have the kid enjoy it.
Exactly. And even when we think about snacking, really, in my opinion, ideally, if we are going to pack any snacks, it should be fresh fruit, period.
Yeah.
Nothing else, no ultra-processed food at all. So we should only be looking at seasonal fruits to make it cost-effective. And also, too, is allow the child to be in the kitchen with you to prepare its meal. If the child is in the kitchen preparing its meal, they're more likely to consume the meal instead of giving it away for money. You know, back in the day, we would give away.
Trade, or let's sell this to you.
And so as parents, it's super important that we get the children involved in preparing the meals, and we also consider that if we're not eating some of these unhealthy processed food, we don't need to be giving it to our children as well.
Good point.
Yes.
Good point. Any other points you have for keeping teens healthy? And of course, this applies to across the board, not just, but you know, we're getting the kids that can have an understanding and an appreciation for how they must now begin participating in their own healthy lifestyles and habits.
So Shanique, I have an eye-opener for parents, right? And this performance report summary came from the NHI, and this is the National Health Insurance, where they had a comparison from the year 2023 to 2024, and they had a comparison in terms of the non-communicable diseases and the increased rate. Now, when it came to diabetes, and this number includes all genders as well as children. So from 2023 to 2024, there was an increase in diabetes by 29%, cardiovascular disease, 13%, UTIs, 38%, and cholesterol, 26% increase. Now, keep in mind, this number includes children. And so when we think of these diseases, as parents who is responsible for children, we are contributing to the overall detriment of our society. So when we think, oh, we're just putting it in the lunch basket, it's not just that simple. So we have to think long term. We have to think community, and we have to also think depositing the right seed and the right information in order for this generation to change as it relates to how we eat and what we consider healthy eating to look like.
Because and you're right. People need not dismiss what you said. I mean, those statistics are local. You know, normally we just quote U.S. statistics and try apply it and figure where we fit into it. But what she said is from NHI.
That's right.
And you're quite right, because you know, a police officer said to me his 12-year-old son had cholesterol issues. Cholesterol issues, yeah, because
you know? And you know what, we don't, whenever we think cholesterol, we always think fat, but sugar contributes to cholesterol, salt, and the ultra processed food, the ingredients, especially the fake sugars and the fake oil. So we have to remember, it's not just fried foods, you know, the Bahamian thing when it comes to cholesterol. A lot of the contributing factors when it comes to cholesterols are the unhealthy, unreal, fake fats, especially margarine.
My God, well, you know, of course, we have moved away from that. Hopefully, get the real butter and get the, you know what I like? I haven't seen for a minute, Earth Balance.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Earth Balance? You said, no, Shanique. Earth Balance. Now, Shanique, I know you want me to throw you under the bus while we... Okay, yeah, there you go.
Because Earth Balance is a vegan butter.
You want to check those ingredients, because not because it says vegan, it is, because when you look at it, that's when they sneak in those fake oils like vegetable and soybean oils, and you definitely want to stay away from that. Listen, if it doesn't say butter, then it's not.
Well, I know real butter that came from Ireland.
There you go.
That I will now continue to use.
Yes.
Because I didn't see it, I got that, and that's the real butter. We know that.
Good choice.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shay King.
Thank you.
It's good to have them on, you know, because then you learn. I eat an Earth Balance. Yeah, thank you. Listen, this is so awesome. I want to do this again just to keep our teens on the right path, whether it's their finances, obviously their mental health, and obviously their healthy food habits. And so we're going to, come back and do this again. Thank you all so much. Of course, at the top of tonight's show, thank you very much to Ian Thompson for stopping by. In the middle of the show, you saw talking finances, your teens and their finances, Howard Johnson. And in this segment, Dr. Shay King. I want to say a big thank you to all of you as well for tuning in this evening. I certainly hope that you took notes and you paid attention, and now you're ready to really move forward successfully in this semester. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.